Hello everyone and welcome on De Papier de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be painting with you a branch of cypress with some fruits at the end. But it's not the regular cypress so you can see all green all year long. It's a very particular cypress that is called bold cypress, and it becomes orangey red, fiery red even at fall. So it's a very interesting tree to paint in fall because of its colors, and it allows me also to use a lot of my very favorite color at the moment, which is Aussie red gold and burnt sienna and Winsor red for all the warmer colors. So on my reference pictures that you can see on the blog post, I will put the link in the description just below if you want to see it. There is just a branch of this cypress with some fruit at the end of the branch, and the fruits are quite interesting in the texture because it's quite irregular and very nice to look at, and the texture of the tree, the branch itself with all the little foliage is also very interesting. So for the top part, which is the foliage essentially, I'm using a lot of Aussie red gold, Winsor red, burnt sienna, and I'm playing with all the mixings in between with these three colors in order to get this glowing gold orange color that I'm loving right now, and it's perfect for the color of this tree. And for the bottom part, I'm using just cobalt blue with a little bit of Aussie red gold, and these two colors combined together make a very perfect green for this painting. And it's a perfect green because cobalt blue is a little bit opaque, not a lot, but a little bit, and just enough so that it makes a murky green mixed with Aussie red gold. And Aussie red gold is a color made of 3 different pigments, and the more pigment you add to a color, the more difficult it will be to mix with other colors. But I'm just looking for that exact specificities so that I get this murky dull green, which is the perfect color for the bottom of my painting today. I've started with a dry paper, but now everything is wet, but not too wet, so that I can make some marks with my brush and the color will blend a little bit, but not too much, and it helps me to build the first layer of my texture. And while this first layer is drying, I will talk you through all the supplies I'm using for this painting. For the brushes, I'm using an Escoda aquario number 18. And for the colors, I'm using cobalt blue, Aussie red gold, Winsor red, burnt sienna. And my paper is Canson Héritage in rough. Now that my first layer has dried, you can see that the colors are a little bit duller because it's always the case in watercolor. The color will dry a bit lighter, but the texture of the foliage is quite present and I do like it. And I just need to add some details on top of the texture to make it quite real. But I start with some details on my painting, like the fruits. I will add also the trunk of the tree and some branches, so that I have landmarks where to place those elements in my painting, and be able to plane a little bit more the foliage where I want it, and where it should start and where it should stop. For the fruit, I'm using the same mixture of green from the beginning of the painting with cobalt blue and Aussie red gold, and a little bit, but really a little bit of Winsor red in order to make it a little bit more duller as it weren't dull enough. and I'm making some strong mark with my brush, but I'm also softening some area in those fruits so that they blend a little bit with the background and seem a little bit more integrated in the painting. But before adding the foliage, I'm adding a little bit of blue sky in some area with cobalt blue. And as I said at the beginning, it's a color that is a little bit opaque, so it will show even on a light color on underneath. So it's quite interesting to add this color for the sky at this moment in my painting, and it will still show a little bit of blue but not too much, and it will blend really well with the background. And you can see that I didn't change my brush for this painting. I'm just using this big fat brush in natural hair. I love this brush very much. It's the best brush I have right now. And usually when I paint foliage, I'm using a dagger brush with a very long hair and a very pointy end. But I decided to not use this dagger brush. Maybe it will be a little bit difficult to make some foliage and make them natural with this big brush, but I think it's a good exercise, and it was quite fun to paint all this foliage with this big brush. So in order to make all those random marks, but very fine on the paper, I'm handling my brush in a very particular way. I'm handling my brush at the very end of the handle, very far away from the tip of the brush, and it helps me to get random marks on the paper, and I just have to scribble with the brush with really no pressure in order to use just the point of the brush and not the full body of hair, and it will make a very fine line with this way of handling this brush. And in order to make a more natural foliage, I'm trying to get some harsh line of with my brush, but I'm also softening some of the line in order to have a little bit of depth in the texture, and soft edges and hard edges will make it look more natural and more cohesive. And also by mixing the color each time a little bit different, it will help also to get this natural effect. Sometimes I will use a little bit more Aussie red gold, and sometimes I will add a little bit more Winsor red, and with all those little changes it will make the foliage appear more natural and maybe in a way more realistic. It was a really fun painting to paint because I was playing with lots of colors that I love, and I'm not painting usually with so much warm color like this orange and red, so it was quite nice to change that a little bit, and also all the foliage painting was very fun to make because it's lots of small marks with my brush, and it's a very interesting to do, and I get also very into my painting, and I'm forgetting everything else, and I do like that when I paint in watercolor. It's really relaxing when I get to this stage where I forget about everything around me and I'm just focusing on my painting. And now I'm painting finishing touches here and there on my painting, just adding a little bit depth on the fruits and on some area also of my painting that lack a little bit of depth. And that's it for this painting. It's quite a really simple one and a quick one also, but yes, it's quite nice sometimes to have a quick painting, but really fun to make and really pleasant to look at. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching and I hope you like it. Please check the blog post for more information about it in order to see my reference picture, for example, or zoom on this painting so that you can see all the brushwork if you want. And please tell me what you think about this painting in the comments, and see you soon.